Hi everyone, I'm Laura from Omtara. Thanks for joining me here today. Teaching beading to others is one of my greatest passions, so I hope you enjoy the tutorial and happy beading. Hello, today I'm going to teach a lesson on double wrapped loops. So on my bead mat I have my round nose, I have my cutter, and I have my chain nose plier. I've got a spool of craft wire, and I've got two pearls waiting for me right there. So generally when I measure my wire, decide how much to cut, I have to take into account the size of my beads, and I allow 1.5 inches for the top wrapped loop, and I allow 1.5 inches of wire for the second wrapped loop, and then I have to allow the space of the beads are going to take up. So for these particular beads I'll probably cut a 3.5 inch piece of wire to be able to wrap that. And if I'm going to be wrapping a crazy wrap, I would allow a little bit more wire. So I've got some pieces of wire cut. They're about a little bit over 4 inches, and I'll start with those. This is a little bit longer. I'll show you how to make a crazy wrap. And again, I'm going to grab my piece of wire with my chain nose plier, and this time I'm going to probably grab a little bit longer. I've made my wire longer this time, and so I'm going to grab about 2 inches down. My tool hands hold, and my opposite hand does the work. I bend the wire over the top of the tool. With my round nose plier, I grab right up in the corner. My working hand brings the wire up, over the top, around and down. I have to reposition. Now if I forget to reposition and I bring the wire under, I think you can probably see that. See how the wire's going under the tool, and it won't allow me to make a round loop. So I need to remember to reposition my tool like that so that I can bring the wire under and have the little tail be at a right angle now. There's my loop. Now this time, again, I say stop. Usually when I'm teaching my students, I write stop in a big chalk letters on the board. I need to attach this tail, this loop, to the loop that I've made already. So I'm going to thread that loop right through the loop, thread the tail through the loop of the first piece I made, and wiggle it and jiggle it till it snaps right into that loop. Now they're interlocking. I'm going to grab this new loop with my chain nose plier, just like that. And you can see that my first component is sticking out of the other side of my tool. And I do the best you can just to get it out of the way so you can wrap this piece easily. This time I'm going to make a crazy wrap just to show you, and I'm just going to kind of loosely wind it any which way I want, and I like to make them kind of bulky. And I'm just going to wind it up till pretty much all my wire is gone. And then I'm going to use my chain nose plier to chomp that tail in if I can. And if I can't get it, I'll grab it, and if worse comes to worse, I'll trim it off if I can't make it do what I want it to do. That looks pretty good. So there's a little crazy wrapped loop. Don't worry if everything gets kind of tweaked out. We can do all that adjusting later. So now my first component's attached to my second one that I'm making, and I'm ready to add my pearl. And thread the wire through the hole of the pearl. Whoops. And I'm ready to go again. So here we go with our chain nose plier. Above, make sure your chain nose plier is sitting right on top of your bead, and allow any adjustment to be done by sliding the wire up into the tool. My tool hand holds, my opposite hand does the work. I bend the wire over the top of the tool. Round noses go up in the corner, and my working hand brings the wire up, around and down. This time my wire hits the bead and reminds me to stop. I have to do that repositioning step, and this allows me to bring the wire right under, just like that, till my tail is sitting at a right angle. Now I'm ready for wrapping. And since I know that the next component I make I'm going to attach to this piece, I can wrap this closed. But it's always a good practice to stop and say, what am I doing with this? Where am I putting it? Is it getting attached to something? If not, you can wrap it closed and then you can add something to it. So I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, grab the loop, and again I'm going to crazy wrap this kind of loosely. I go up and down all around. This is a lot more freeing than sometimes than the coiled wrap. Gives you a little bit more freedom there. I'm going to squish that close with my chain nose pliers, grab the little tip, squish any sharp edges in, give it a chomp as I say, and then I'm going to adjust any loops that might have gotten bent out of shape when I was doing my wrapping. So there you have double wrapped loops, interlocking, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Happy beading!